Daniela Forner-Castellan and her husband Andre have been socially isolating at home with their 2 girls for 3 months. Their savings have kept them afloat until now, but the quarantine is starting to take its toll.
It's as if people's lives don't matter. We see the number of cases continue to rise, and we know the more the cases rise, the more people will die. Abandonment. That's what we are feeling.
Social restrictions are still in effect across much of the country, but businesses are reopening despite rising numbers. Brazilians like Daniela don't know who to trust. Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has led perhaps the world's most controversial response to the pandemic.
In my case, with my history as an athlete, if I were contaminated by the virus, I wouldn't have to worry. I wouldn't feel anything, or at worst, I would just have a little cold.
He's downplayed the virus, forced out 2 health ministers, broken quarantines to join pro-government rallies without a mask, and fought with state governors over social restrictions, which he says are a move to tank his government by sinking the economy. The country's poor favelas and indigenous communities have been hit hard, with some tribes losing dozens of members. Reports say the death rate in indigenous communities could be almost 9%. Brazil's public healthcare system is managing, but only just, as the country has built field hospitals and increased the number of intensive care beds, but it's still bordering on collapse in many areas. Last week, many states, including Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo, began to reopen businesses and shopping malls. But coronavirus deaths and the number of infections has again spiked in Sao Paulo.
Brazil's public healthcare system is managing, but only just, as the country has built field hospitals and increased the number of intensive care beds. But it's still bordering on collapse in many areas.
Prado says Brazil is perhaps the only country this size in the world that has tried to reopen its economy before hitting peak. The results could be disastrous. The University of Washington predicts coronavirus deaths in Brazil could pass the United States by early August. Brazilians are bracing for the unknown, with only one thing for sure: it's going to get worse before it gets better. Michael Fox, TRT World, Florianópolis, Brazil.